What's up, guys? It's Yeti back with another episode of SPOOKsquatch with Yeti Roosevelt. And tonight we are going to be covering our first remake in this series. We are going to talk about Child's Play 2019. I watched this when it came out on video last year. I watched it, I rented it from Redbox, and I had completely forgotten that I had seen it. I just watched it again on Hulu, and it got about 20 or 25 minutes into the movie, and I was like, I think I've seen this. So, it didn't leave too big of an impression, but it's also not terrible. Like, I'm not a Child's Play purist by any means. I think Chucky is fine. He's an iconic character. Oh, God, cats. Down. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I think Chucky himself is a iconic character, but Child's Play as a series, which is still ongoing, by the way. So Child's Play and Chucky are apparently different because of studio reasons. I don't know. But this one that I'm talking about right now is a reboot, but the original series is also still going. So it's a whole thing. This one is very different. It feels like a throwback, an 80s throwback. But it's very different. But the main two characters are still Chucky and Andy. But in this one, Chucky is not the spirit of a serial killer possessing a doll through means of voodoo. He is just a machine, a robot, a smart device that is malfunctioning. It was the guy who's making them. It said the country at the beginning. It was like Singapore or Thailand or something. He was told, finish that toy you're working on and leave, you're fired. So he purposely messes up the programming of this toy, and he turns off all the inhibitions that it would normally have, all the fail safes, and sends it out. Andy's mom, played by Aubrey Plaza, surprisingly, I forgot all about that, gets Andy this toy, and they have a very good mother-son dynamic. I bought that, but she has a boyfriend, and it's like the biggest horror movie trope ever. It's like this kid and stepdad, mom's boyfriend, don't get along. So he gets this Chucky doll, and their whole thing, it can connect to smart devices in your house and like help you with tasks. It can tell you the temperature inside your house and stuff. But it also learns, so it becomes like a personal project, or a personal companion. Like it learns your likes and dislikes and works off of them. But since all his fail safes have been turned off, like I don't remember if it's before or after. I just watched this thing, and I don't remember, but I don't remember if it's before or after. I think it's before. Andy wishes that his mom's boyfriend would just go away. He said, like, I wish he was dead. I wish he'd go away. So that night, Chucky kills him because he thinks, like, oh, that'll make Andy happy, so that's what I'm going to do. Because he's a learning machine, and all his, like, don't hurt people programming is gone. So he's like, oh, Andy's my master, and this will make him happy, so that's what I'm going to do. And it's a kill straight out of the, I think it's 2006 remake of Black Christmas, where it's Christmas lights wrapped inside of in that it's a snowblower, in this it's a tilling machine, but still it's Christmas lights dragging him into this machine that's going to cut him up. But then Chucky stabs him anyway, and Andy wakes up the next morning and the skin from the boyfriend's face is cut off and put on a watermelon and put in his room. I don't know what made a machine think that he would want this. I get that he would want, like, Andy said, I wish he would go away. I wish he would die, whatever. So he kills him. What what inclined Chucky to think like, I know what'll do it. I'll put his face on a watermelon and put it in his room. That'll make him happy. Like it's a huge leap, but it happens. They realize they can't call the police because they're gonna think that Andy just did it. They're not gonna believe a toy did it. And then Andy and his friends are watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's awful. But they're watching that. It's like hilariously bad, and they point that out in the movie. Because they... They are laughing at the movie. So Chucky thinks that people getting hurt or they themselves getting hurt is funny to them. So he goes and gets a knife and tries to attack them as a joke. Because again, they saw Leatherface kill a person with a chainsaw and they all laughed. And so he's like, oh, okay, violence makes these people happy, so that's what I'm going to do. And that's his whole thing. So he thinks like these random killings will help him. The cat scratches Andy's arm, so Chucky kills the cat, which is like number one thing to make me never watch a movie again. I forgot that happened. That's the only reason I watched this again. You can kill 50 people in a movie and I won't care. You kill one cat or one dog, I'm out. Nah, I won't watch it again. I have 4 cats. I love them. But that happens. And it gets more and more intense from there. Chucky gets destroyed, and then a guy finds him in the trash and goes to fix him. And then after he's fixed, Chucky kills that guy, which is the most intense, probably the most intense kill in the whole movie. They really take advantage of their R rating. I will say that. Like, they fully embrace the fact that they are rated R, and they do some pretty horrific things. And this guy, Chucky I think he cuts up the back of his legs with a knife, so the guy can't really stand up. And he's crawling around trying to get away from Chucky, and he's holding himself up on this pipe, like a water pipe. I've got one over there. And he's holding that, and below him is a table saw, and Chucky turns on the table saw, and then increases the temperature of the water pipe to where it's like, I think it says it's like 170 something degrees. So it's burning the guy's hand, so he lets go and he falls onto the table saw. It's pretty great. They don't really shy away from it either. Like they show a lot of it. And then Andy finds out that Chucky is coming back after him, and Chucky decides like, well, Andy got rid of me, so I have to give him no choice but me. So he goes after all the people in Andy's life. His friends, the old lady that lives next door, which her death was actually really sad. She's in a self-driving car, and Chucky hacks it and turns off all the safety features and just crashes her into a building. But it's long. It's drawn out. It's like 2 minutes long. And then there is a release of they're still called Buddies. Oh no, they were called Good Guys in the original. Well, now they're just called Buddies, but it's Buddi, so it plays on like the whole iPhone thing. Well, they're releasing a line of them called Buddy 2, and they're like bears. So a lot of people are calling them Buddy Bears. And they literally have Chucky's clothes on, but they're bears. First of all, Chucky doesn't look very good either. His face is weird. And they do the whole, when he's acting evil, he's got blue eyes, but when he's acting evil, his eyes turn red. So it's like, it's pretty on the nose with that. But the bears look weird because they're just bears wearing clothes. But Chucky turns all of them evil and attacks people with a bunch of drones inside the store. There's some. Oh, Andy's got a hearing aid in this movie, and Chucky has hacked into his hearing aid and locked him into this mall, so only Andy can hear Chucky. So he's got the voice of this thing trying to kill him in his head, which is horrifying. And then Andy and his friends are about to leave, and Chucky broadcasts on the TV that he has Andy's mom locked up inside the back of the mall. So Andy tells his friends to get out of there, get help, whatever. He's got to go find his mom, and he's got a hedge trimmer to defend himself. Which, if you've ever used a hedge trimmer, they're pretty much a slightly safer chainsaw. Like, that's basically all they are. They're like a chainsaw with a guide rail. So it's a pretty damn good choice of weapon to protect yourself, if you ask me. But Chucky has Andy's mom tied up. He's got a noose around her neck, and the other end of the noose is on a fork truck. And he's raising it up so she'll get hung by the noose. And Andy's cutting the noose with the hedge clipper, and then Chucky attacks him from behind. So he's dealing with cutting this rope and Chucky. And they jump onto the rope. It finally snaps because it was cut almost all the way. It finally snaps. And when they're down on the ground, the hedge trimmer falls and breaks. They're down on the ground, and Chucky's got his knife, and he's about to kill Andy, even though he wants to be with Andy. Like, it's a thing. It's a horror movie. It's a thing. So Chucky jumps at Andy to stab him with the knife, and he gets shot by a detective that's been helping them through the movie. He's one of the best characters in the movie. But he got hurt by the drone, so you think he's dead because his neck gets cut. But apparently he's fine. He shoots Chucky, and then Andy's mom rips off Chucky's head and breaks it. And that's basically just how the movie ends. But it's all right. Like, judging it on its own merits, it's fine. It's not great. Like I said, I forgot I even watched it. I will say I do enjoy the original better, but I don't think either of them is phenomenal. People are going to remember the original one more than this one. Nobody talks about this remake anymore. I brought it up to somebody a couple weeks ago, and they didn't even know it happened. So, like, it doesn't have the legs that the original one does. Also, the original, the killer being inside the body of a doll that needs to possess a child so he can be a living being again, is better motivation for the doll trying to kill the kid than this toy, this malfunctioning machine wanting to kill him is. It kind of turns out of nowhere, because he literally says, like, I want to be all you have, and then he tries to kill him. So I guess because, like, he's been saving the people that Chucky's been trying to kill, so he got pissed and tried to kill him. But I mean, it's whatever. This Chucky in the 2019 one is voiced by Mark Hamill, which is awesome. You can never do wrong getting him. He was the voice of Joker in Batman the Animated Series, along with many other characters. But he's fantastic. He's easily the high spot of this movie. And then the relationship between Andy and his mom, Aubrey Plaza, is right after that. Like I said, it's fine. It stands on its own pretty well. If it wasn't based on a pre-established property, I don't know if people would talk about it more. But it doesn't drag it down that it's a remake. It feels fine. Like I said, it's fine. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, because now I have documented proof that I've watched it. So if I ever question myself again, I can just look at this. But I'm going to give Child's Play 2019, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think that's the lowest rating I've given yet. And again, it's slightly, because 5 is average. So it's slightly above average. If I were going to rate the original Child's Play, I'd probably only give it like a 7. So it's not that much better. Or this one's not that much worse than the original. But I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. If any of you want me to review the original Child's Play, I can do that too. It'll probably be about the same length as this video. But, yeah. Until then, guys, or until tomorrow, I should say, when I upload a new video, peace.